Happy Friday, friends, and welcome to Acoustic Guitar Showcase number 80. We are thrilled to have you folks here with us, and we have got an impressive selection of guitars to work our way through today. A very, very serious selection of guitars. And folks, as always, my good friend, Mr. Alejandro, is joining us behind the controls today.
What's up, guitar geeks? How's it going?
Do not neglect to say hi to Alejandro and thank him for his service here. Otherwise, we'd be imagining what these guitars sound like, if that. And folks, first guitar off the wall. Every guitar off the wall is going to be a fabulous one today. The first one is no exception to that rule at all. This is one that we just got in this past week from my friend Max Spohn out of Germany. This is Max's OMC 12 fret guitar with some just gorgeous and tasteful restraint in the design of this guitar here. And Alejandro, if we could maybe get a close-up of this, I would love to dig into this guitar first. We've got a Swiss Moon Spruce top on this guitar. You can see it is a very, very blonde selection of Swiss Moon Spruce here on this guitar. Lots of that, you know, heavy medullary rare silking happening all throughout this soundboard. Boy, oh boy, you can really see it right there, that beautiful cross grain, giving it some nice, almost flame to the look of this top, almost like a micro flame. Really clean looking. Speaking of clean looking, you'll see that this top is not being distracted upon by anything at all. There's no pick guard. There's no fanciful rosette on this guitar. In fact, the rosette itself is essentially just a bound sound hole done in black ebony there, which is really sharp, but nothing to fuss about on the face of this guitar at all. Just ultra clean looking. We do have an ebony binding theme around the body of the guitar with that beautiful carved ebony bridge there as well. Ebony bridge pins. We have got a beautiful, and I'm telling you, extra straight grain set of East Indian rosewood on the back and sides of this OMC 12 fret. You can see a rather generous cutaway here, Florentine cutaway as well, definitely aiding in the fact that this is a 12 fret instrument and giving you some nice real estate beyond the 12th fret there comfortably with that generous cutaway. But man, a really clean set of East Indian rosewood for the back and sides. If we look all the way up on the face of the headstock, we're going to see a matching Swiss Moon Spruce veneer on the face of the headstock. I don't know why it took somebody so long to put a piece of spruce on the face of a headstock to match the top of the guitar. I'm sure Max Spohn is not maybe the first builder ever to do that. I can't credit that to him for sure that I know of, but man, he does just an exquisite job, framed in that nice black ebony binding as well. Got that beautiful Honduran mahogany neck with that nice back strap on the back of the headstock there as well. Really beautiful stuff all the way around. And I have to say, I just love the comfortable, somewhat kind of petite ergonomics of this guitar, being that it is the 12 fret design here. It makes for a rather short reach to get to sort of your first playing position here. You're not way out here, you know, reaching for something in no man's land. This is a rather compact, rather comfortable, you know, just ergonomic fit, at least for my stature here. We've been fortunate to have just a small handful of the Spohn guitars through our shop so far, and I've got to say I have just been delighted to get to know these guitars, been delighted to get to know Max as well, the luthier of these guitars. Just a gorgeous creation in this guitar. Do stay tuned for more of his work through our shop, because we enthusiastically have some stuff in the works with Max right now that we are excited about. So can't wait to get some of those in. But this is an awfully fun one here, folks. As always, if you've got questions, comments, like to tell us what you're playing this weekend in terms of guitars or even gigs, don't be shy with that keyboard. Chime right in there.
Yeah, Matt, John Kaywell said that last time he watched the show, it cost him $10,000. So hoping that it may not come to that again. No promises.
The evening is young, John.
And man, that top on that guitar is something else. It's almost hard to get the cameras to expose it right, because it's so bright. But there is like a really tight flame in there,
like a micro curl in it. Yeah, it's
if that didn't come through in the video, crack open that link in the description to see some up close photos of that. It's really nice.
Definitely, yeah. That's the cool thing, we love, beautiful rosettes and artful touches and stuff like that. But when you see a guitar that kind of just doesn't have any of that stuff, and it's just so starkly beautiful and how clean and pure it looks, that's almost just as fun, maybe if not more so. This thing just kind of gets going right away, doesn't it? Folks, we have been honored to have the first of its kind, so to speak, in this instrument from my friend Mr. Stephen Marchione. This is the first of its kind, first model of its kind, being a modern OMC from Stephen Marchione, and this is legit stuff here. Hondro, if we could indulge ourselves here, I would love to do that. We've started with a Sinker Redwood top from Mr. Marchione. Talk about a master luthier. Stephen Marchione is absolutely the definition of that, in my opinion. The guitars that he builds, whether it be an archtop guitar, a carved top, semi-hollow guitar, or even a solid body bolt-on neck guitar, they're like the most exquisite instruments practically that can be had out there, and this is a great example of that. Again, deep cutaway OM guitar here. Again, Sinker Redwood on the top, and I just want to call your attention to some of the details. First and foremost, this rosette, which you can see as I turn it in the light here, the sort of triangular shell that he has done almost creates like its own momentum around the sound hole here, its own movement. Just an incredible, one of the most incredible rosettes I've seen in quite a long time. Let me see if I can give you a bit of a close-up there. I love how he uses a combination of sort of gold mother of pearl along with white mother of pearl. I'm sure there's other shell types in there as well I'm neglecting to mention, but some really, some just beautiful kind of colors at play there that all kind of feed into each other real nicely. Very elegantly bound in ebony binding all around the body here. We also have a completely powerful carved ebony bridge here. Also want to call your attention to just that line of purfling that goes throughout the bridge there, really making for some beautiful shapes and just sort of shadows and lines that you get there. throughout the carving there. Gorgeous, gorgeous stuff all the way around. But man, talk about a very, very high level of, again, just kind of silking and medullary in that sinker redwood top as well. Back and sides of this guitar are, man, I got to just say one of my favorites, a really, really excellent high figure set of walnut for the back and sides here. And I love that almost pinstripe kind of wedge that he does right down the center of the back there. Gives it a really kind of a, almost Art Deco kind of a sharp look there as well, tying in with all the ebony binding. I should call your attention to the solid figured walnut neck on this guitar as well. Not something that we see very often, if hardly ever, and just a perfect match to the back and side set on this guitar. Yeah, not real common that you see a guitar of this level with a walnut neck of that level, so perfectly matching everything on the back and sides. Also want to call your attention to the face of the headstock, which is done in ebony. It's got that beautiful pinstripe purfling done around it there, and one of my favorite headstock shapes in all the business is that powerful Marchione headstock, and I love that little bit of inlay work, kind of tying in with some of the theme of the rosette down there right in the center of the headstock. We've got black locking, Spruce locking tuning machines there, which is kind of standard treatment for a lot of Stevens guitars, in a very, very comfortable, somewhat, I'm not going to say it's a very fat neck, but a somewhat full feeling C profile neck on this guitar. We do have 1 3/4 inches at the nut, 2 1/4 spacing down here at the bridge, and a 25.4 inch scale length on this guitar. Bit more accustomed to hearing Brazilian rosewood back and sides, European spruce tops from Stephen Marchione, and hearing a very kind of alternative, a very different tone wood combination with his incredible build style and voicing technique applied to it is really excellent. Man, talk about intonated harmonics. I don't know if I've ever used that term, but those are some very in-tune harmonics, I will say. Very sweet. It's kind of builds on itself there, feeds on itself. That's pretty fun stuff. That's a cool one.
All right, Matt, we can hear what some people are playing in chat today.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Let me pull them up. Let's see here. Actually, Corey is interested in why we don't carry Boucher guitars.
Corey, we are in the midst of working on that right now, actually. We were, I won't go into all those details and bore you with it, but we're in the midst of working on that. So keep an eye on our website if a Boucher is something you might like to see in your future, because we also would like to see those in our future as well and plan to. So keep an eye out.
And I actually had a question from Staley Explorers. What is the difference between medullary ray and flame?
Very good question. Flame typically is considered to be like a bigger version of medullary ray, if that makes sense. And I'm probably not the foremost expert to talk on the differences in chatoyance and figure in wood like that, the way some are far more qualified than I, honestly. But flaming is essentially is what you're seeing in the silking, just a much larger version of it, where the silking is, like we were saying, almost like a micro curl type of a version of that that you get. And if I understand correctly, and kind of as I've been told, you tend to get the maximum amount of that medullary or silking when the wood is perfectly quarter sawn. So just keep that in mind. The more of that you have, the more of an indication of the perfection of how that wood was cut and processed for that purpose. So good question.
It looks like Remo is playing a multi-scale baritone with Italian spruce and Pernambuco.
Oh, I bet that's nice. Very nice, Remo.
David Vandermolen playing his Larrivee OM-03.
Nice. Love a good 03.
And Corey playing their Boucher BG-151, an
nice.
OM with Bearclaw Adirondack and a crazy figured Madagascar Rosewood.
Oh, very nice. I bet that's a big sound.
Philip here with a self-made D18 with Sitka and Cuban mahogany.
Oh, very cool. We've determined long ago I'm never going to try to make a guitar, or at least we don't think that that's ever going to happen. But man, what a cool thing to be able to say, hey, I made this guitar and this is the guitar I play. That's pretty cool.
And Ryan guitars with the Hey Shirt Brothers.
Hey Shirt Brothers. Speaking of my friends at Ryan, I think that they were trying to go for some sort of like world record at NAMM this year, like bring the most amazing guitars to NAMM and you win. I think that they were going for that.
Oh yeah.
And I think they won. And on that exact note, folks, we have arrived to a completely magnificent Kevin Ryan that was in fact on display at the NAMM show just a few weeks ago in Anaheim, California. This is a Nightingale Grand Soloist model. And Hondro, let's take a close look at this beauty if we could here. We've got all sorts of fun little things to dig into on this guitar. We've got a Bearclaw Sitka Spruce top that we have started with on this guitar here, and this is quite a selection of Bearclaw Sitka on this guitar here. I've got to say, just a lot of really interesting, deep, three-dimensional figure in this top, and as you move it in the light, it really has a lot of that movement to it. Kind of dimensional movement to it, which is really fun. We've got the ebony binding theme on this guitar with some just ultra fine figured blue Powa shell going around the border of this top. That is far from the end of the inlays, though. As you can see going around the sound hole on the rosette of this guitar, folks, you're looking at the handiwork of Mr. Larry Robinson, a highly renowned inlay artist, been around a long time and is an absolute expert in his field. This guitar has a very heavy Rainforest theme, which we just totally loved, and love all the color especially that goes into this guitar. Before we get to the rest of the inlay, let's get to the guts of this guitar first. I want to show you the back and sides are a really, really juicy set of just perfectly like pinstripe flamed koa, just perfect flame from side to side, totally horizontal. I also love a lot of that kind of vertical grain that you see there. Gives you a lot of dimension in just the visuals, but again, lots of 3D quality to this figure in this back set here. Just a gorgeous golden set of koa though. We're also lined with blue powa shell all around the back panel, around the side panels here, even throughout the cutaway. So some really beautiful, colorful inlay work that really leaps out of that gold koa there as well in a nice way. All the way up on the headstock, we've got a lot to get into here. Again, that's a Nicaraguan rosewood veneer behind everything else that you see. I just want to mention that. But again, we've got a just crazy, amazing, and I'm going to give you a close-up here in just a moment. I'll step away from the mics, but a Rainforest theme with colors in it that are just like, does that belong in a guitar? And the answer is absolutely yes, it does. I'm going to give you, in fact, Handra might give me a hand here to give us a little bit of a close-up on this guitar. It deserves it, and we would love to show this to you folks. Bear with us while we do this here. Let's see that amazing parrot with the kind of tree-lined stuff happening behind it there. Ryan logo, of course, all the way up top. We've got some more tropical birds there. Some trees. More birds. Some butterflies. And all sorts of fun stuff throughout the rosette there, and just awesome color, depth, dimension. I love how it's shell and wood and dyed material and stone and even brass. There's little turtles and frogs. It's like, holy cow. The longer you look, the more intense it gets. But lots of incredible Larry Robinson handiwork on display in this art piece of a guitar. That is absolutely what this is. It's a tone monster, but is an absolute art piece in every sense of the word. Folks, for those of you who have not ever had the opportunity to play a Ryan guitar, it's time to make a plan to make a trip to our store to play some. These will spoil you real quick. Let's just put it that way. It's a ultra luxurious tone and dynamic, lively tone out of that. Very, very fine.
All right, Matt, I'm going to have to interrupt for a second. We're having some slight audio issues with some like popping and clicking, so I'm going to take 30 seconds to sort of reset.
Sure.
So everyone just hang tight for just a moment.
I'm
going to mute this whole stream for a second.
This might be my pick, too.
So we don't hear anything, so we'll be back in like 30 seconds.
You're welcome, folks.
All right, we're back. Let's see if that helped anything.
Thanks for hanging in there with us, folks. Despite the audio issues, appreciate you. And if anybody hears any more issues, yell at Hondro. It's definitely his fault.
Yeah, it sounds to me like we have a bad XLR cable somewhere in this whole mix or something.
Seriously?
But I'm not really sure. So, sorry, y'all.
Sound like we're good enough to keep trying? We've reached yet another ripper off the wall today. This comes from my friend Gage Halland in Livingston, Montana. Man, this is the most recent that we have received from Gage. This is his OMC-H. And he has pulled out some stops on this guitar and definitely spoiled us with some awfully, awfully nice wood. And certainly his job of voicing as well. Alejandro, if we could take a gander there. We've got, as I said, Gage's OMC-H model here. This is a multi-scale version of the OMC with that, again, rather generous Florentine cutaway here. I just love the silhouette of this guitar, accompanied by that beautiful Laskin-style armrest there on the face of the guitar. I just love the little flourishes that kind of lead into that armrest there, both really, really a comfortable design aspect of the guitar, but most certainly an aesthetic aspect of it, too. You can't deny it. It is absolutely a gorgeous part of the aesthetics of this guitar. It really makes it look like a tool, for creating music, which is really cool. Also love that beautiful carved bridge there as well, pinless bridge, those ball ends being fed in through the bottom there, as you can see. And again, a multi-scale design on this guitar. You can see a rather intense rosette here done in Buckeye burl with some beautiful powa shell on either side and then purfled all throughout in between everything there. In fact, if we can give you a little bit of a close up there, that color that he achieves in that Buckeye burl, and then again that real glistening shell on the outside is just awesome. The guitar is bound in ebony, very, very clean jet black ebony binding all the way around, and the back and sides of this guitar are a filthy beautiful set. See if we can get it in focus here, of the most coveted of Brazilian rosewood. We've got some really beautiful quarter sawn but figured Brazilian rosewood on the back and sides of this guitar. And I've said this before, and I feel that I can say it about this guitar. I feel as though you can hear every square inch of the Brazilian rosewood present in this guitar when you actually play it. Just the thick resonance of this guitar and again dynamic quality of this guitar is very unmistakably Brazilian rosewood, I think, in pretty much every way. But a beautiful set. And I'm sorry for the reflections there, folks. A little bit of a dark set, but a beautiful one indeed. We've got that slightly offset headstock, kind of indicating, again, it's that multi-scale or fan fret design, but an ebony veneer both on the face of the headstock as well as on the back of the headstock with the gold 510 Godot tuning machines with black buttons. 1 3/4 inches at the nut and 2 1/4 spacing down here at the bridge. So just ergonomically very, very, very friendly guitar to play. a delightful, almost kind of smoky, but still very, very clear voice out of this Halland. Man, awesome. And I got to tell you, it doesn't hurt, you know, when you have an incredible instrument like this. That's wonderful, don't get me wrong. It doesn't hurt at all, though, when the person who made it is just one of the coolest people in the business, too. Gage is just one of the nicest guys that you could possibly ever sit down and have a conversation with. So pretty fun that that's also the case in situations like this from time to time. So a very excellent Brazilian OMC there. Speaking of excellent OMCs, seem like our audio is cooperating there, Hondro?
Not really.
Really?
But I tried a couple other things and nothing's working right now, so I probably have to pull the whole thing apart and start from scratch, which I'm not going to do right now.
Can I ask, are we doing anyone a service by continuing?
Oh yeah, no, they're still enjoying it.
Because I can't see all the people protesting on the comments.
Oh, they're very mad at you specifically. Folks, just earlier today, in fact, we received this guitar off the delivery truck. I was really hoping that this guitar was going to make it in time today for this acoustic guitar showcase. Thankfully, it did. And I've just, even in the last couple of hours, have been having an awesome time kind of quickly getting to know this guitar. And it is an awesome, awesome OMC from Gaiero Guitars, my friend Mark Gaiero, just an awesome guitar builder, and seems like every new guitar that we get in from him, we think, man, the last one we got from him, we thought, how can he outdo that guitar? And somehow he just keeps impressing us more and more with each new guitar he sends us. This is Mark's OMC 13. So this is a 13 fret OMC guitar, a rather cool design because it gives you sort of a nice balance between sort of the tonality of a 14 fret and some of the tonal depth that is typically achieved in a 12 fret guitar, kind of splitting that difference right in the middle, giving you that neck joint right at the 13th fret, and then of course applying the bridge in the proper location a little bit deeper into the gut of the guitar here, the body of the guitar there. So a really nice design. Hondro, if we could take a close-up look at these beautiful woods. We have got a gorgeous, gorgeous redwood top on this guitar, a beautiful specimen all the way around there. I got to say, I really love the curly maple rosette there going around the sound hole. It almost has kind of a homogeneous look to it until you realize the figure in the grain and everything is different there, but a nice, almost uniform look. The body binding on this guitar, rather, is a really curly walnut binding, beautifully done.
and that's a bit of a hint to what we're going to see on the back and sides of this guitar. This is actually the first of its kind that we have ever had in our shop before. This is a set of Claro walnut from the mother log. So they kind of commonly refer to this as mother Claro walnut, similar in spirit to like the tree mahogany from a single source of log there. The mother Claro walnut is a similar story to that, in that this is one tree we're talking about. So if you want to talk about quote unquote what I like to call name brand tone woods, this would definitely fit that description in every way possible. But a crazy just depth of figure to this beautiful walnut. And again, just anytime you have a name associated with a singular source like that, there's a cool story behind it, which is pretty fun. So all the way up on the headstock, we've got a curly maple veneer right in the center of the headstock. And I just love this headstock design. You got that nice kind of a thick frame around it. With that nice sort of subject right in the middle of the curly maple. We've got many black Godot 510 tuning machines. And then on the back of the headstock, we've got a mother Claro walnut veneer on the back. I want to also call your attention to this beautiful neck. This is a curly cherry neck on this guitar. And just a beautiful figured wood neck on this guitar. Got a 1 3/4 inch nut width and a 2 1/4 spacing down here at the bridge, and just an absolutely enchanting voice out of this guitar. And again, I've been playing it just for a couple of hours today. I've got to say the bass response specifically that I'm getting out of this guitar and feeling out of this guitar is bigger and bolder than I was anticipating hearing out of this particular instrument with these tone woods. It has a really substantial, among other things, I have to say I was surprised by the substantial bass response in this guitar. Very fun one, and again, a brand new one from our good buddy Mark Gaiero. I should also mention just a couple cool little things. We've got a Catalosh fingerboard, a Catalosh bridge on this guitar. Again, just really slick playability. Great setup, great feeling neck on this guitar. The whole thing's just ready to roll.
Awesome. Matt, Jeff Jewett says hi.
Jeff, good to have you here, my friend.
And Matthew is curious if you keep these guitars in a standard tuning or an alternate tuning.
So all of the guitars today we will be hearing in standard tuning. I try to let you know if we're doing anything outside of standard tuning, simply for a reference point, which I will do if we get to that point for sure. So good question. Folks, we have reached, in fact, another guitar that actually just arrived at our shop today. This is a brand new McPherson. This is the MG 4.0 XP. That might sound like a bit of a mouthful, but I can decode that a little bit for you. MG McPherson guitar, pretty simple. The 4.0 in that title is going to reference the body depth down here at the tail of the guitar. So it's going to be a 4.0 inch deep guitar down here at the lower bout. Just for reference, they have 4.5s, which is going to be a 4.5 inch deep guitar. They have a 5.0, which is a 5-inch deep guitar, as well as even like a 3.5, which is a much shallower body. But the 4.0, definitely the most popular in the range of McPherson guitars. The XP, in the terminology of the title, is going to indicate the slightly enlarged sound hole here, or the extended port, extra large port on the face of the guitar. You can see obviously we're dealing with an offset sound hole, a little bit more of a kind of a radical or contemporary design on this guitar, not being right under the strings there, but allows for a very unique bracing design in this guitar, which is totally proprietary to McPherson guitars. I also want to call your attention before we get into the woods themselves. We're also dealing with a cantilevered neck design, meaning that fingerboard extension itself over the body is literally hovering. Thank you, Hondro. You can see my hand back there behind that hollow portion under the neck there, or under the fingerboard extension rather, almost similar in design to think like a cello, or like a big double bass, with that extension kind of hovering over the soundboard itself and not dampening the soundboard, which is a really interesting and cool design for an acoustic guitar. Let's take a look at this wood here. We've waited long enough. We've got a absolutely filthy Bearclaw Sitka spruce top on this guitar, and my oh my, why can't they all look like this? This is just a perfect, awesome, deeply figured Bearclaw Sitka top on this guitar. Gorgeous, gorgeous all the way around. Back and sides of this guitar are a Beeswing selection of Honduran mahogany. Beautiful color, nice golden color, and beautiful figure to this mahogany as well. I've got to say, just beautiful all the way around. Got a beautiful rosewood veneer on the face of the headstock, and then that maple McPherson logo all the way up top there. We've got gold Godo 510 tuning machines with a 1 11/16 inch nut width on this guitar and a 2 3/16 spacing down here at the bridge. And the McPherson guitars, in terms of playability, just in terms of kind of the style in which they are built, they're like race cars. I mean, it is a very, highly refined instrument, a lot of design detail that goes into a guitar like this. And the almost studio process tone that comes out of the guitar acoustically, naturally, without any microphones present, is a result of the really intense design that has gone into these guitars. Big sustain out of that guitar, big sustain. And I gotta say, normally, mahogany back and sides aren't typically always regarded as like the most dramatic, longest ringing sustain tone wood out there. So again, just a testament to the intense, I keep saying that word, but intense kind of build style of this guitar. Really, really cool stuff.
You know what they say, big sound hole, big sound guitar.
No one has ever said that.
Sorry.
And if so, don't let them ever say it again. Folks, we are arriving to yet another NAMM showcase special today. And I've got to say, ever since I even just saw the text description of this guitar before I saw any photos of it in production or anything on the NAMM floor, I was very intrigued by this guitar. Even just the idea of this guitar I was intrigued by. And Hondro, let's tell the folks what it is first, because I'm gonna end up playing this all weekend, I can already tell. Folks, we are dealing with the largest of the Kevin Ryan selection. This is the Cathedral Grand Fingerstyle, a statement of a guitar in every single way possible, but a absolutely powerful, amazing creation. And to have a guitar this large that is responsive enough for fingerstyle, and not just responsive enough, but so rewarding for fingerstyle, is an engineering feat, to be sure. We are starting with a seriously filthy Bearclaw Sitka spruce top. We've had a number of really nice Bearclaw Sitka tops on the wall behind me today. This is a really, really good one here. Really just awesome figure all throughout this top. Sitka spruce, the trees themselves are somewhat large trees, to be sure. In fact, Sitka spruce, that's a pretty good sized tree. it would require a good-sized tree to make a top this large. So that's a good thing, but a beautiful selection here. I love the arts and crafts signature detailing in the purfling all around the top of this guitar, kind of individually segmented little squares done in mother of pearl, black Tahitian pearl, and even reconstituted turquoise. And speaking of the reconstituted turquoise, I want to draw your attention, as if it wasn't already, to the incredible rosette going around the sound hole here. The first of its kind, the only of its kind, in fact, I've ever seen from Kevin Ryan. This is a play on their Pueblo rose theme with a little bit of a sort of inversion, if you will, of the materials that they typically use. You would typically see where all this turquoise material is, kind of a wood backing there. They did away with the wood backing, filled that with turquoise. You see a lot of other black Tahitian pearl details in the arts and crafts rose theme there throughout that rosette. And I just want to mention, if you didn't see our YouTube special on the Kevin Ryan NAMM booth just a few weeks ago that was posted, Kevin himself mentioned, he said this was one of the designs that was being sort of floated for the 35th anniversary guitars that they built last year. This was not the ultimate design that made it onto the 35th anniversary guitars, but this was like their favorite design that was not meant for that guitar, but just meant for something else. I'm so glad they used it on this guitar, because it is so perfect in the context. I also want to just show you the titanium bridge pins that they use in all of their guitars, but in this guitar specifically, we've got that reconstituted turquoise inlaid into the tops of those bridge pins as well, which is just, you know, take it to the next level, why don't you? Folks, back and sides of this guitar are going to get real. We are dealing with the tree, mahogany, and one of the finer sets that I've ever had the pleasure of viewing in person, without a doubt. The just depth and dimension and just quilting of this back set is really one of a kind. Sorry for the reflections there, but really deeply figured 5A Honduran mahogany here from none other than the tree itself. We are lined with black Tahitian pearl all around the back of this guitar, as well as all around the side panels of this guitar. So once again, we've got that beautiful iridescent shell popping out of that wonderfully organic golden figured wood there. Just all sorts of fun to look at, I've got to say. All the way up on the headstock, we're going to see a beautiful, again, rosewood veneer on the face of the headstock there. I want to call your attention to the black Tahitian pearl Ryan logo, but it actually has turquoise micro stone around the Ryan logo itself. Let's see if we can get up close on that, or Handra might give me a hand here. Thank you. Try to hold that still for you. You can see that turquoise just lining that black Tahitian pearl. Of course, we've got the arts and crafts kind of treatment done right down the face of the headstock as well as the arts and crafts rose perfectly tying in on the face of the fingerboard there in black Tahitian pearl, as well as that turquoise. Man, just a beautiful bunch of inlays. And again, this is what they refer to as the Pueblo rose theme. Thanks, Handra. That rosette deserves quite a close-up. I just love the milky kind of greenish turquoise with a little bit of kind of grain in there that you see. Really excellent. And I've got to say, I did not spec nor design this guitar. Obviously, the folks at Ryan do all that fine work, especially with NAMM collection guitars like this. But I wish I would have thought of all the details in this, because whoever thought of all this is really thinking on my level. say, aside from, just kind of thinking in the back of my mind here, aside from maybe a small handful of dreadnoughts, I think this might be the largest, or certainly among the largest guitars I've played that have the tree mahogany on the back and sides. It does what they say it does. Really luscious tone. Gorgeous overtones in that one. Gorgeous, my goodness.
Yeah, the low end fullness of that guitar is astounding.
Yeah.
Very pleasant.
Yes, it is. Folks, just like that, the last guitar off the wall for the day. Folks, last guitar on the wall for a reason is the Froggy Bottom Model K Limited. We wanted to end this acoustic guitar showcase on a big note, and this is the big note we're going to end it on. This is a masterful guitar in every sense of the word. Several months ago, Michael Millard of Froggy Bottom Guitars kind of made an announcement to his very, 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 very small dealer network that he was going to start kind of unlocking some of his personal woods out of his personal collection that he has been able to amass over the last 5 decades of being a master luthier in the acoustic guitar industry. And we have definitely exercised that ability to use some of those really precious tone woods that Michael has stashed away. Alejandro, if we could take a look at these woods I'm referring to. Right off the bat, we are starting with one of Michael's 1876 vintage German spruce tops. And if it gets better than this, I don't know about it. This is just some of the finest European spruce with such an incredible age to it, and has really been in just kind of perfect seasoning conditions up there in Vermont under Froggy Bottom's watch there. This is a beautiful selection. I love almost that racing stripe that you see right down the center where the two halves meet there. Otherwise, you can see some just gorgeous figuring, almost just like a singular strip on either side of figuring down that top there. Just really beautiful, really unique. I don't know that I've ever seen figuring in a European spruce top quite like this before, just being, you know, kind of centered to those two halves of the top there. Really, really cool looking. Gorgeous milky color to this top as well. The body is bound in curly maple. Being a limited grade guitar from Froggy Bottom, we'll also see that super colorful wild caught New Zealand Paua abalone shell going all around the perimeter of the top as well as around the sound hole on the rosette of this guitar. I love that kind of small tortoiseshell pickguard down here as well that they put on their a little bit larger guitars. Love that kind of small guard on the big body. They're very cool looking. Back and sides of this guitar are one of Michael Millard's personal sets of 5A Brazilian Rosewood. And man, oh man, this is the good stuff, folks. I absolutely adore these inky black lines and that amazing level of spider webbing that you see all throughout that back. It almost looks like the bottom there, especially in the center, is almost kind of on fire there, really glowing in a very beautiful way there. Just beautiful color, milk chocolate otherwise all throughout this back set, and again just perfect black lines, spider webbing all throughout this beautiful, beautiful wood. This is, when I think of Brazilian rosewood, this is what I think of. It's rarely what I see, but in like dream case scenario, this is what I imagine Brazilian rosewood to be. This is just absolutely top of the top in my book, in Michael Millard's book as well, apparently. So all the way up on the headstock, we're going to enjoy a matching 5A Brazilian rosewood veneer. We've got that unmistakable abalone frog all the way up there, indicating the Froggy Bottom maker of this guitar. We've got the Honduran mahogany neck with the standard 1 3/4 inch nut width, and as we normally do, we upped the spacing at the bridge just a little bit from 2 3/16 up to 2 5/16, making it very, very comfortable for our fingerstyle friends and anybody else out there that might like a little bit of extra spacing down there at the bridge. But I got to tell you, the combination, first off, it's a Model K. The Model K in my book, that is a Froggy Bottom. You know, it's very much so the way that they build it and voice it, very much so Froggy's own original thing that they do. And then when you include tone woods like this to such a great model of guitar, regardless of what it's made out of, you're talking really, rarefied air that this guitar is going to kind of sit around. So if you've got a collection of guitars, it better be an impressive one if you're going to add something like this to it. But absolutely a crown jewel from Froggy Bottom in this Model K Limited. Quite an instrument. And always continuously reminding myself that anytime we do something like this, these are all brand new specimen infantile instruments in the stage that they're in right now. So arguably the worst that they're ever going to sound, as silly as that is to say out loud. But pretty fun stuff. Hondro, what'd you like off the wall today?
Do I have to answer? Can I take them all?
I think the answer is just yes.
Yeah, the correct answer is yes. Man, I'm gonna have to go with this Froggy. Yeah, just it's supple and buttery, warm, and just thinking about how old the top is. The stuff of dreams.
I hate to be so superficial, but just the way the thing looks.
Well, yeah, I mean the 5A Brazilian, nothing to throw rocks at.
Right. I hope not. Yeah, I'd be curious if anyone from the chat has latched onto anything specifically. I could latch on to all of these and be real comfortable. I gotta say, man, that
you gotta pick one.
God. That Cathedral, I've never played a Ryan Cathedral with the tree mahogany.
Right.
I have to say, we're spoiled here. I have played a Ryan Cathedral with Honduran fiddleback mahogany. But I tell you, that's two different things. As crazy as that sounds, it's two different things. That's a banger there, but man, I got to tell you, the Gaiero is absolutely blowing my mind. The Spohn is breaking my heart. The Marchione makes me want to quit playing guitar. The Halland, I don't know if anybody is worthy of that Halland.
Well, you tell it to him. He's lurking in the chat. And so is Marchione. So Ryan is still here.
Oh, great. Well, might be the time to go now.
No.
Everybody's watching us now.
Let's see what chat thinks. David on the Froggy, done and done. Another David on the Froggy Bottom when they win the lottery.
I hope I win it first.
Japan Company on the Halland.
Yeah.
John between the Halland and the Ryan Cathedral Fingerstyle. Marco on the Froggy. Remo on all guitars. Correct answer.
That is the correct answer. We have a winner. Awesome. Yeah. Folks, as I said, we seem to we try to up our game, week to week as we do these live streams. I think this might be one of the most impressive showings we've had.
I think we say that every week.
Not to pat ourselves on the back, we didn't make any of them.
Well, Matt, they're on to you. They know that you always end with a Froggy Bottom.
I know. I know. There's a reason a company like Froggy Bottom has been able to be around for over 50 years. It's because they make a guitar that sounds like this. So for any of the maybe newer or less experienced luthiers, that's an awful way to put it. I don't want to put it that way, but maybe pay attention to what Froggy Bottom is doing in the building of their guitars. They're doing some good stuff. Folks, once again, we sure appreciate you joining us, whether it be live at this very moment right now, or if you're able to catch us after the fact, not live. We sure appreciate you either way. Please do come back and keep joining us. Again, do not be shy about contributing to the conversation. That is why we do these live, is because we want to have that conversation with you folks. Do join us again next time. We'll be coming to you live again in the next couple of weeks with a fresh batch of guitars. I do not know how we're going to outdo ourselves this time, but we'll figure that out as we get to it. Folks, thanks again for joining us. Have a fabulous